Hey, good morning. It is sometime early in the morning in New York City. Welcome again to another episode of the Not So Average Guy Show. Again, I'm giving you these thoughts and sharing these thoughts. I'm sharing these thoughts with, whoever's out there watching these when they come to me. So this one came to me while returning from dropping my wife off to work, and it's snowing here in New York. Just got hit with like 10 to 12 inches of snow. It is what it is here. That's what we do. That's what we deal with. So to the topic. The topic is parenting. And as a parent, I've had to grow through each and every child that I have. Now, me and my wife have a blended family, and that blended family includes me having a daughter and she having a daughter prior to us getting married. Then we had 2 more children together. All girls, all different personalities, all different human beings. Over the course of raising each and every one of them, either full-time or part-time, I've had to reevaluate how I am as a father, and that in turn helps me reevaluate myself as a husband, because your job is to instill, the best characteristics and the best moral compass possible to your kids. If you're a parent at any age, even if you're a young parent, your mindset has to change. And that change means that you are no longer the primary person in this world. Your center of the universe is now going to be moving forward and gradually increasing your children for a period of time. It is not going to be forever. That is the difference that I had to learn over time. Because once your kids start to grow, I would say after the age of between 8 and 10, they are more self-sufficient. Then you get some of your time back. One of the biggest things I've done as a parent is, and it's a quick and easy thing. What you can do is you have this phone, like I have a phone, right? You have a phone. Everybody tells these fucking cell phones. It doesn't matter where financially on the scale you fucking are, you have a phone. And there's free services out there, right? So you take your phone and you make a video. And you address topics to your children directly. And you save these videos and you email it to them. Every kid has an email address, young or old. Every parent has an email address, young or old. And you talk about things that you've either failed at, you talk about your lessons that you've learned, and that you don't want them to actually, repeat. You talk about maybe if they're working like myself. I tell my kids, I'm like, hey, listen, I've worked in corporate America for a very, very long time. It is a great experience. I still work in corporate America right now. But the one thing I've never done is own my own business. And I tell my kids, hey, listen, I would suggest I'm of the thought that you don't need to go to college, because I did not go to college. However, I do live in a very good area. I do have a really good, decent income, I guess, depending on where you live. So I don't believe that you need to go to school to I don't believe you need to go to school to get an education based on something that you might not, the field that you might not get into. So it really depends. If you're going to school right now specifically for just business administration, okay, I get it. In my opinion, you need maybe 2-3 years experience and then jump into corporate America. Jump into some kind of retail. Jump into somewhere that you can fit your foot in so that you understand what that actually is. Versus you taking 3 to 7 years to go to college to get a bachelor's degree and then come out here and get a job that's like $30,000-$40,000 and you're in student debt. That doesn't add up for me. It hasn't added up for a long time for me, but that is my opinion. Now, to the point of being a parent, right? I have older kids who don't see it that way. And I respect their opinion. So I have to let them go and say, hey, listen, all right, if this is the way you think that's going to work for you, great, no problem. I bring up sometimes the fact that I have to say, well, what about the debt that you're going to gain? How are you paying for this? How are you managing this, right? Because if you have a child, if you're married and you have life events and you have a higher debt to income ratio, I don't think that you should spend money on going to college. However, if it's the other side and you think that you have a low debt to income ratio and no kids and you think this is going to get you to that next level or your plan is a little different, then fine. Again, these are topics that I'm saying that parents should go out and share with their kids. And sometimes you know as a parent that your kids are not going to take it directly from you, right? They're not going to take this message, right? So what do? Instead of saying, oh, let's have a family meeting or whatever, let me share this, let them digest the content or the topic, and then if they come back to me, then great. But as I know as a parent that I said, you know what, let me push this information to my kids, let me put it out, let me share it with them, and maybe they'll talk amongst themselves, and maybe they'll see certain points that they agree with or disagree with. And it's okay because they have to make those decisions based on their life experiences, not my experiences because I did this or that, I did all this other stuff, right? So I think if you believe in education and if you're going to go for a career and you're going to be a professional, meaning a professional that's having a sort of like the professionals of like being a doctor or a lawyer or something that requires an enormous amount of schooling or education. I get it. There is structure. You do need structure. You do need structure for a business. But again, I believe now during this time, these last 7 to 10 years, there's been a big push for entrepreneurship. There's been a big push for, being your own boss and everything else. However, there's also been a big push, right, for the hustle porn that's out there. Oh yeah, you can go on Robinhood and do this and do that and do all this other stuff and you can make a shit ton of money in Bitcoin and listen, I get it. It's nice. You want to do all this stuff quick, fast, and in a hurry, in what they call a New York minute. But that's not the way things work. As a parent, you know that shit don't work like that. It didn't take your children 2 days to walk, 2 days to run, 2 days to be able to pick up a spoon and eat, right? So as a parent, you always have to reassess yourself as parenting, as a skill set to say, hey, listen, am I doing the best possible job giving my kids what they need right now? And if I'm not, what can I send them? What can I share with them? Because at one time or another, you're not going to be here. I'm not going to be here. I'm not. So it'd be interesting to see, because most people, right? Most people, they'll have an email address and they'll have it for years. They'll forget the password. I'm like, oh, I still got this email address. Oh, let me see if I can get back into it. And if they scroll through it and they say, oh, wow, Dad sent me this a long time ago. I remember that. Let me watch this again. I can't remember. And this might be when you're gone or you're not around, right? When I say when you're gone, you're passed away, you're dead, you're wherever you are, right? The other part is the fact that, okay, well, maybe you're in another country. Maybe you're somewhere else. And maybe they're by themselves. Maybe they're going through a bad relationship. Maybe they're going through an event that they say, damn, I wish I had advice from, like, you know, somebody. Wish I want to hear my mom or my dad's voice in my ear for comfort or whatever the case may be. And there are numerous topics that you can fucking do and talk about right on your phone, like I'm doing now. And it's so super simple that you can get this shit done and then still carry out your day. It doesn't matter. Most of the shit that's on YouTube and anything will last forever. They won't delete your account unless you do. They won't delete emails unless you do. And if you're really, really adamant about sharing this stuff with your kid, you'll pay like $5 or $10 a month just to have a service so they don't delete your fucking data, and then they'll have this. So again, it's all about reassessing your objectives as a parent and seeing, well, really, where am I good at? Where am I bad at? Now, to close out that topic, right? There are people out there who will not do this at all. And that's okay. Right? Because that means that you still got work to do. That means that somewhere in you, you feel that you don't have the fucking value as a parent, as whatever, to say something to your kids about whatever. Right? Because you made all these fucking mistakes. Right? It is what it is. Just go back to the biggest thing, is that you don't want your children to make the stupid mistakes that you've made over time. You want them to be a better human, right? A better human being, to treat people with fucking respect, to treat people, you know, have moral, have principles and everything else. That's what you want. You want them to be a great person for the betterment of society. Oh, what are you talking about, Chris? What the fuck? That's a big society. I don't give a fuck about. You're full of shit. Because we live in a society with fucking people of different fucking ethnicities. You want to call it race, you call it whatever. But there's only one race, and it's the fucking human race. So whether you want to fucking believe it or not, the biggest thing that you can do is treat people the fucking right way, because sooner or later they're going to treat you back the same way. Now, you may not have this fucking opinion, but as a parent, right, stop feeding your kids some fucked up programming that you got when you was a kid, right? Wherever you grew up at. If you grew up in a fucking really nice neighborhood and you fucking think you're the shit, great, but do you want your kids to grow up exactly like you? Nah, you don't. You don't. So, take inventory. Make sure you like the person in the mirror. Not as the individual, but as the parent to your kids. And then once you figure that out, write topics down. I've done this numerous times with my kids. And sometimes I hear from them, sometimes I don't. It depends on the kids. Some are very internal. They don't fucking tell me shit. Some tell me, things certain times. They'll reach out to me. Hey, Dad, oh, I watched this. Like one of my daughters, she says, wow, this is really cool stuff because it's wisdom, but they're from Dad. So they're dadsdoms, So that's kind of cool because she's, playing on the word wisdom, dadsdom, or momsdom, whatever you fucking are. Right? So, again, I've got another daughter who will only bring up stuff that I've talked about around when they're all together. So what does that mean? That means she feels comfortable in that environment to do it. So again, here you go. Chris, the Not So Average Guy Show. I hope you get something out of this. If you do, fine. Great. I'm happy for you. If you don't, there's nothing I can do about that. And you know what? I'm going to keep doing these. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like the way I look. I really don't care. But I'm doing these because this might change somebody's perception for them and their family. All right? Take it easy. Peace.